guys, it's Alana, veteran hairstylist and curly hair expert, and I'm doing what with rice? I'm going to show you how to make a rice water treatment that can help strengthen your hair. This looks more like a cooking show than it would be DIY for hair care, but let's get started. I have about a third of a cup, maybe half a cup of rice, and I'm just going to rinse it with some warm water. You don't want to rinse it for too long because you want to keep all of the proteins in there. You just want to get the dirt away. This rice looks actually really clean. I don't see any little particles in it or anything that you wouldn't want in your hair, but sometimes it does have a little bit of dirt. It comes from the ground. Then you take the rice, move it into a jar that you'll be able to have a cover to, because we want to get all of this rice in here and then fill it with water so that it's airtight when you're done. I didn't have any mason jars laying around, but I did have this fancy schmancy wine glass that happens to have a cover. Priorities, right? Now I have my rice in my container, and I just top that off with clean water, filling it all the way to the top. I'm probably going to get a little bit of spillage, which is fine because I just want to make sure this is airtight. This can be a little bit smelly. Some of the treatments that I've seen, people spray this on their hair and then rinse it out, but I like to leave it in. So it's good to do once a week. You don't want to overdo it with this, and I'll talk more about that in detail, but I'm just right now showing you how to make the Magic Glow Potion. So I like to take a little citrus and peel some of this without chopping my finger off. I'm not very good in the kitchen. Take these little guys, put them in there, kind of like squirt some of that citrus oil out of the skin. So there you have my little mixture of rice water and oranges, kind of pretty. And I put my airtight cover on. So this is not just a regular, this one has a cover like this, so it can be airtight. Mason jar is great. Any old container that you have with a screw top on it, you could use, if you have an empty olive jar even. Anything works. I just happen to have this on hand because I like wine. Airtight, I'm gonna let it sit for a couple of hours. Keep in mind, you can't fill this all the way with rice because it will expand. Sometimes I like to leave it overnight. If you're gonna leave it all night, you can really only put about this much rice in because that will expand, and you might have a mess in your fridge if the rice expands too much. I'm gonna let this sit for about 2 hours and then come back and transfer it to a spray bottle and show you guys how to use it. It's nighttime now, we're back. It's been about 3 hours, and I think our rice water is ready to transfer into our spray bottle. So, just gonna open this up here. This actually came in handy because I don't have a funnel, but then I can just pour it into the bottle this way after making a little bit of a mess. Any rice comes out of that little hole, that's fine. I'll catch it in my strainer. More than enough anyway. I don't usually keep this for more than a few days, and I keep it in the refrigerator to keep it from going bad. I like a Flairosol bottle like this one because it provides a really good even spray, so it applies evenly throughout the hair. We have 2 ways of doing this, and we wrote about it on a blog post on our website at controlchaoshair.com and suggested that you cleanse and moisturize your hair with your normal products, and then you do this, leave it for 20 minutes, and then rinse it out. But if you really want to notice the benefits, sometimes I leave it in and style it with it in the hair. And proteins can make your hair feel really thick too. You don't want to do this too often. If you're going to do a treatment like this often, make sure that you do rinse it out because you don't want all that protein staying on your hair for a long time because that can lead to dryness. You have to have the perfect balance between protein and moisture, especially with curls, or you can get breakage from too much protein. Protein's great for strength, but you can overdo it. I'm gonna just show you how I do it because I don't do this very often. I use products that have rice proteins in them, so I don't need to do this. You can see my ends. This is my hair that is cleansed and not moisturized. So I've just used a cleanser, of course, a sulfate-free, low foaming cleanser with a surfactant that does carry away the dirt that's sticking to my scalp. So I do not co-wash. I do not use a cleansing conditioner. You have to wash your head for many, many reasons, but make sure you wash your scalp. You don't have to ever wash your hair. So if you're using the right products, They should just rinse down your hair and carry the dirt away. So you just need to make sure you have a nice clean scalp. So I have no product in my hair. You can see how frizzy it is and how it's pretty damaged too. I mean, I've gotten highlights forever and ever. I live in Puerto Rico now, a good portion of the year, so it's getting a lot of sun, it's getting some chlorine, it's getting some salt water. But I want to live my life, right? So I'm trying to do the best I can to keep it healthy. So first, before I do most treatments, I like to give my scalp a really good invigorating brushing. So I do this every day, every night before wash day. I do it as often as I possibly can because healthy scalp means healthy hair. So I hate that I'm using my mankiest old brush ever, but I do like a boar bristle brush that has some plastic bristles and some boar in there. Pure boar might be better for breakage. If you have really sensitive hair, you might not want to use any with plastic bristles, but I find this really gets in and invigorates my scalp more with the plastic bristles. I don't like the ones with all plastic bristles because they can tear at your hair. So a nice little mix. This will give a good detangling for me as well, whereas plain boar bristle doesn't really get through the hair that much. So now you're gonna see what I used to look like in like 6th grade, because I used to actually use a brush like this every day, and all my friends with straight hair brushed their hair, so I did the same thing, and I was like, why does I look like this? Why doesn't my hair look like Susie? Anyway, this is my crazy hair all brushed out. And then what I do is just spray this on and kind of brush it through. You don't need to get it near the scalp, although you can. It's not going to clog anything, but my hair is pretty healthy at the root. So I just spray it on, get that pretty wet, and I just go in sections. I'm really sloppy and lazy when it comes to my own hair. I like to teach people how to like get all this stuff done, but don't make it so complicated. Just get it on there, and I'm gonna brush it through anyway, so just get the bulk of it. And keep in mind, when curls are wet, they're much more sensitive. Hair in general, when it's wet, is much more likely to break. So you don't want to take sections and really pull at it once you've gotten it wet. So that's why I detangle it first when it's dry. And of course, my hair has to be a lot wetter than this for me to be able to style it. So I'm gonna add water, just plain water on top. But this way, the protein can really get in there and do its job because the hair isn't already filled with conditioner or water. So when it's dry, you can actually get more protein in there. So if you're gonna do this once in a great while, do it this way. If you're gonna do it weekly or every few days, then definitely apply it to clean, wet hair. Let it sit for 20 minutes and then rinse it out. Also, the cuticle layer of the hair, if it's open, will absorb more. So you could do like a heated towel on top of this, or a plastic cap, a heated towel on top of that. Or you could kind of use your hair dryer to make it warm up a little bit and open up that cuticle layer like we always talk about the shingles on a house. This doesn't feel sticky or anything like that, so this isn't gonna leave any residue in my hair. I'm not putting a super ton of it in there, but I am going to go get my regular spray bottle that's just water, and then I need to soak my roots down, of course, because as you can see, I didn't really get so much at the root because it doesn't really need protein there. So it's okay if you get some on there, but I definitely need to get that wet to style it or I look crazy. So since I put this in a bottle that you can't see through, I just wanted you guys to see what the rice water actually looks like. So it's a little bit cloudy, like you might imagine. It's kind of like, it's just a little less cloudy than it was when we first cleaned the rice off. So that's what you can expect it to look like. It's like some unfiltered sake. I don't know. Did somebody say sake? Sensing a theme. Always, always, always use a diffuser if you have curls and you're gonna blow dry. Oh, there she is. Be right back. So here we have it, finished product. Looks great, really shiny, does add a lot of shine, and it feels thicker. So it might be good to use for a DIY thickening treatment on occasion as well if you want to leave it in, but like I said, not too often. So proteins are great, but notice how I didn't mention wheat proteins. A lot of people have a problem with gluten, and not all proteins are created equally, so it's important to look for gluten-free products, especially if you have a gluten sensitivity. There are other proteins from soy, flaxseed, and rice that can give you excellent results, and you get to stay away from the gluten. If you want to learn more about products with gluten-free proteins, click the link below. I have to admit, I do love a good DIY moment. Give this rice water rinsing thing a try and let us know what you think in the comments. Oh, rice, what can I say about you? Sometimes it's a tasty little side dish to my meal. Sometimes you help a sister out when there's a phone dropped in water SOS moment. Whatever the case, I have some serious love for this multitasking ancient brain.